Can you discuss the parallels between coaching a championship team in the NFL and coaching championship teams in NASCAR and have the parallels grown closer over the course of the evolution when where you first got here, you had the crew chief and the driver, and now it's kind of blossomed into you have got to have the entire team and special teams, aka the pit crew, has become more important than ever in this sport.
Kelly, I think the thing I've kind of said this before, but as far as the two sports, it is kind of amazing how much they are alike. In football, you're not going anywhere in football unless you got a great quarterback. Over here, it's what? The driver. Okay. In football, you gotta have a coach that knows what's going on. Hopefully you have a great coach. Over here, that becomes crew chiefs. Okay. And so the two sports are the fact that our pit crew guys, it's almost exactly like football. They have mandatory weight training twice a week. They have mandatory practice. It's all videoed and filmed. They're paid bonuses on pit stops. I mean, the two sports in that way are a lot alike. Over here, we got a car, and many times that thing will not obey. It doesn't, it doesn't, you can't chew it out or threaten it. Okay. But I do think the two sports are a lot alike. My role is totally different. In football, I can make it happen. I was over there, I grew up in it, technically call plays, make it happen. Over here, I can't. Okay. And so my role over here is totally different. Pick the people, work with the people, try and keep our sponsors happy. And I said, my biggest thrill is trying to pay the bills the first of every month. So my role here is different. I would say this, there are a lot of similarities between this sport and the NFL. Those are the only two I've been in, but it's kind of amazing, really. And you're trying to win a championship. The one thing that we talked about is different. Over here, you have four teams. That's a real challenge, really difficult. How do you get four teams to work together? I think that NASCAR is really tough from that standpoint.
You're talking about the parallels to the NFL and NASCAR. As a head coach, a Hall of Fame head coach, you had to mentally prepare your players for that, one game to win a championship. How involved are you with crew chiefs, drivers, and pit crew members, just getting them mentally prepared for the task at hand, which is just a one race to win a championship?
I think over here, Toby, what it's mostly the crew chiefs, and they have that close working relationship. They're constantly in the sim. They're going over things with their drivers, and they're trying to climb the mountain, get it done. And so the crew chiefs over here deserve the credit. And I'm obviously in the background. I'm in the competition meetings and stuff, and I share things at different times. But it is over here. I look at the crew chiefs, and it's just the same role that I did play in the NFL. And they're kind of the motivators. They're the guys that make it happen. They're the guys that make the calls. And so that's a very close, tight-knit relationship between drivers and crew chiefs. They really depend on each other. And so this world, those are the guys that make it happen over here. It's not as much, I'm there, certainly around it, care about it, but they're the ones that make it happen.
Awesome. And with the crew chiefs being essentially the head coaches in NASCAR, do you think they get enough credit for what happens on Sundays?
I think our fan base is very knowledgeable. I love Sirius Radio. You hear the fans come on there. Everything on TV on the weekends. We're 38 weekends, which is a huge window on TV and everything that takes place. I think our fan base is very knowledgeable and they understand. And I think they really appreciate crew chiefs. They know what it takes. Our fan base is, they're after it. And I appreciate that. And there's an excitement there. When you hear them call in on the radio or have discussions with them, I think they definitely understand how important the crew chief's role is. And so I appreciate that about our fans. And I think in pro sports, they get a lot of attention, pro sports do. And certainly NASCAR does. And people know, I think the crew chiefs are, you know, they deserve a lot of credit. And I think they're keys to what happens here with your race teams.